Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're embarking on a journey back in time, yet one that brings us straight into the heart of modern challenges. We're talking about the profound wisdom of Confucius. Now, you might immediately picture, ancient texts and historical figures cloaked in long robes, perhaps even dismiss it as something solely for academics, but hold that thought, because the material we've gathered for this deep dive reveals just how astonishingly relevant Confucian philosophy remains. It offers potent insights and practical blueprints for navigating our lives right now. It's about finding surprising shortcuts almost, to understanding complex human dynamics and ethical leadership, all distilled from wisdom that has, well, endured for millennia.
And what's truly fascinating here, if we connect it to the bigger picture, is precisely how these timeless principles, meticulously laid out by Confucius, provide not just theoretical concepts, but actionable blueprints. Blueprints for personal growth, for cultivating genuine harmony in our often chaotic and fast-paced modern world, and for truly ethical leadership across all domains. Our mission in this deep dive is to meticulously extract those key insights from the sources you've provided. We're going beyond merely telling you what Confucius taught. We're going to explore why it still matters today, offering powerful aha moments, moments that can redefine how you live, how you lead, and how you understand the very fabric of human interaction. The sources we're drawing from are rich excerpts and contemporary analyses specifically focused on applying Confucianism to pressing contemporary issues. And they consistently emphasize its practical, tangible benefits for daily life.
So let's dive into the absolute bedrock of Confucian thought, a concept called Ren. That's R-E-N, Ren. It's a term you'll encounter frequently, often translated as benevolence, kindness, or humaneness. But what does this really mean for us, beyond a simple dictionary definition? It sounds a bit abstract on the surface, doesn't it? Like a lofty ideal that's maybe hard to grasp in the gritty reality of daily life. Yet, our sources make it abundantly clear that Ren is anything but abstract. It's a living, breathing force.
Right. When we talk about Round, we're essentially talking about the profound recognition and honoring of the inherent dignity within every single person you encounter. It's an active, compelling call to engage with genuine compassion and deep empathy in all your interactions, whether they're with your closest family members, your colleagues in a high-pressure meeting, your friends, or even, a complete stranger you pass on the street. This isn't just a fleeting emotion, nor is it a passive sentiment you occasionally feel. It is, at its core, an active, guiding principle that profoundly shapes your behavior, your decisions, and your very worldview. Think of it as a deeply ingrained sense of human connection, a profound feeling of shared humanity that actively compels you to consider the well-being of others with the same sincerity, the same intensity that you consider your own. It's really the ultimate ethical compass for navigating the complexities of human existence. And the benefits of truly cultivating are not just philosophical, they are profoundly practical and far-reaching. One of the most significant and frankly surprising benefits the sources highlight is its unparalleled power in building robust, enduring trust. When you consistently act with compassion and empathy, when your kindness isn't just performed but is genuinely evident and authentic in every interaction, you naturally establish this deep reservoir of trust. This applies equally to your most intimate personal relationships and your crucial professional connections. And this stands in stark contrast to relationships built solely on transactional exchanges, where every interaction is driven by what can I gain, or superficial connections that entirely lack genuine depth and reciprocal care. Ren creates a foundational bedrock of reliability, sincerity, and unwavering support, where others feel inherently safe, profoundly valued, and truly understood. They come to know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that your intentions are genuinely good and oriented towards collective well-being. This kind of trust isn't fragile, it's resilient, it withstands challenges, and it becomes the unbreakable thread weaving together truly meaningful interactions, creating bonds that stand the test of time and adversity. Beyond individual relationships, the sources are crystal clear. Ryan is absolutely critical for what Confucius termed moral leadership.
Yeah.
It moves beyond the idea of leading simply by, wielding power or status or relying solely on charisma. Instead, it elaborates on a different kind of authority, one rooted in profound character. So what does this look like? In the boardroom, the community, or on the political stage? Well, a leader embodying Ron isn't just issuing directives or demanding compliance. They are inspiring deep loyalty and profound respect precisely because their decisions are consistently guided by a deep sense of humaneness, a genuine concern for others' welfare rather than narrow self-interest or the naked pursuit of power. This leader gains an allegiance that transcends their official title or organizational position. It's a loyalty born of profound admiration, deep trust, and a shared sense of purpose. Their influence becomes far more profound, authentic, and enduring because it touches the hearts and minds of those they lead, inspiring them to rise to their own best selves.
That's a powerful vision, yeah. But let's be honest, in the often harsh realities of the modern workplace, does aren't still truly hold up? I mean, many companies are laser focused on metrics, efficiency, and, the bottom line. Is treating employees with humanity more than just a soft optional skill? Or is there something more? The sources we have really dig into this, showing how cultivating aren't goes way beyond mere perks. It's actually a strategic force that profoundly impacts organizational health and productivity. Consider a manager who genuinely cares about their team's well-being versus one who only focuses on output, treating people like, interchangeable cogs in a machine. That shift in approach dramatically alters the entire dynamic of the workplace. You feel it immediately. In an age of quiet quitting, for instance, where disengagement is, rampant, cultivating aren't can transform a potentially cynical workforce into one that's deeply invested. When a culture is genuinely built on aren't, it can profoundly reduce burnout because people feel seen, supported, and valued as whole human beings, not just productive units.
This psychological safety encourages vulnerability, allows for honest communication, and empowers individuals to take creative risks without fear of harsh reprisal.
Exactly, and that dramatically increases collaboration because there's a shared sense of humanity and collective purpose, not just cutthroat competition. And crucially, it improves overall productivity, not simply because people are happier, although that helps, but because they feel safe to innovate, safe to share nascent ideas, and to commit fully without that debilitating fear of failure or judgment. It ignites a sense of shared purpose that makes work feel less like a chore and more like a vibrant collective endeavor.
Right, and to bring this to life, drawing directly from the spirit of the source material. Imagine a leader at, say, a tech startup facing a particularly tough quarter. Instead of immediately resorting to widespread layoffs, which might be the standard playbook for protecting the bottom line in the short term, this leader makes a difficult decision to prioritize employee wellness and job security. Perhaps they take a significant temporary pay cut themselves, or implement innovative programs to retrain employees for new roles within the company, demonstrating a commitment to their people even when facing financial pressure. This deliberate, compassionate act of demonstrating Rhine by protecting their people, nurturing their talents, valuing their contribution beyond mere economic output, build an almost unshakable loyalty, deep, unwavering loyalty.
Absolutely. Employees will remember that genuine care and commitment long after the tough times pass. And their dedication and commitment to the company and to that leader will only strengthen, which translates into higher retention, increased innovation, and a truly resilient, human-centered organization. That's Orn in action, a powerful force that transforms abstract philosophy into tangible, business-critical results.
Okay, so we've talked about how Orn cultivates individual integrity, that inner core. But what happens when these virtuous individuals step out into the world interacting with others? Confucius understood that personal ethics are just one piece of the puzzle. The very fabric of society, he believed, is woven from our relationships. We all navigate these daily within our families, our workplaces, our communities. And the quality of those connections, as the sources emphasize, truly defines our collective experience and well-being. This brings us to one of his most practical and impactful frameworks for social harmony.
Right. And the crucial question then becomes, what are these foundational relationships that Confucius identified as the pillars of a harmonious society? The sources outline 5 critical bonds. First, parent-child, with an incredibly strong emphasis on what's known as filial piety. Second, ruler-subject. Third, husband-wife. Fourth, older-younger sibling. And finally, friend-friend. Now, what's absolutely crucial and often misunderstood is that each of these relationships, even those that appear hierarchical on the surface, comes with profound mutual responsibilities and explicit expectations for respect. It's emphatically not a one-way street of command and blind obedience. It's a dynamic, reciprocal interplay of duties and expectations designed to ensure societal cohesion and individual flourishing. It's about a structured order where reciprocal responsibilities are paramount. Let's truly delve into the intricate dynamic of each. Take the parent-child relationship, for instance, which heavily emphasizes filial piety. This concept, often oversimplified as mere obedience, actually goes far beyond that. The sources describe it as a profound, lifelong debt of gratitude and practical, active support for one's parents, especially as they age. It involves consistent, active consideration of their well-being in your decisions, seeking their counsel not just out of politeness, but out of genuine respect for their accumulated wisdom, and ensuring their comfort and dignity in old age. But it's also the fundamental backbone of intergenerational wisdom transfer, not just passively listening to elders, but actively integrating their vast accumulated experience, their hard-won knowledge, their moral guidance, into the fabric of daily life and decision-making.
So it's about keeping that connection strong across generations.
Precisely. This ensures that the lessons of the past dynamically inform a stable and prosperous present and future, fostering a deep intergenerational cohesion that strengthens both the family unit and, by extension, the entire society. It's a dynamic exchange, not a static obligation. Now, the ruler-subject and husband-wife relationships are historically hierarchical, yes, but a critical nuance consistently emphasized in our sources is their reciprocal nature. A ruler for Confucius isn't meant to be an autocratic despot or a self-serving tyrant, no. On the contrary, they must be profoundly benevolent, genuinely just, and deeply concerned for their people's welfare. Their authority isn't inherent, it's earned through their virtuous conduct and moral leadership. In return, subjects owe them loyalty and respect, but this loyalty is conditional upon the ruler fulfilling their moral duties.
Ah, so it's not unconditional loyalty.
Not at all. Similarly, within the family unit, a husband is expected to be responsible, to provide, and to lead with integrity, setting a moral example. In turn, a wife has distinct rights and expectations of moral leadership, support, and protection from her husband. This is far from blind submission. It's a structured order where those in positions of authority bear profound moral duties to those beneath them. It's about a mutual give and take, where the duties flowing from the top ensure the well-being and flourishing of those at the bottom, thereby creating a balanced, stable, and morally sound social structure. It truly emphasizes that leadership is earned and maintained through consistent moral conduct, not simply inherited or seized. Then we arrive at the older-younger sibling and friend-friend relationships, which highlight another facet of the societal harmony. The older sibling is expected to provide guidance, mentorship, and protection to the younger, setting a positive example and offering unwavering support. The younger, in turn, shows respect and learns from the older, valuing their experience. This dynamic fosters a deep sense of internal family harmony and sets a powerful precedent for how individuals should ideally interact in broader social structures, promoting a widespread culture of mentorship, mutual care, and supportive guidance. And true friendship, as envisioned by Confucius, is also profoundly significant. It involves unwavering trust, genuine mutual care, the courage for honest critique when necessary, and unwavering support, especially during times of adversity. Friends aren't just companions for leisure, they are moral anchors, helping each other to grow, challenging each other to be better, and navigating life's myriad challenges together with integrity. These relationships, whether rooted in blood or chosen kinship, are the foundational micro-level building blocks for a harmonious macro-society, ensuring that individuals are supported at every turn.
That's a fascinating framework, really. But let's bring it into our current reality. In a world that seems increasingly fragmented, where social division and us versus them mentalities feel more pervasive than ever, are these ancient concepts truly enough? Or do they offer practical strategies for bridging those seemingly intractable divides that go beyond just a general sense of mutual respect? The sources hint at a deeper application, don't they?
They do. Because if we truly internalize these relational dynamics, they offer a powerful lens through which to bridge divides. By focusing on the mutual responsibilities inherent in these relationships, even metaphorically applying them to different groups within a society, we can begin to fundamentally shift from an us versus them mentality to one of shared duties and collective responsibility. For instance, rather than viewing political opponents solely as adversaries, what if we approach them as fellow citizens with a shared, albeit sometimes different, vision for the community's well-being?
How does that work in practice, though, focusing on mutual respect and responsibility across deep divides?
Well, it requires recognizing the inherent dignity and shared humanity in the other, regardless of their stance, and actively seeking common ground based on mutual care and a commitment to the collective good, even when fundamental disagreements persist. It's about understanding that even in the fiercest disagreement, there is a reciprocal expectation of respect and a shared commitment to the societal whole, which allows for productive dialogue rather than, intractable deadlock. It changes the frame.
Okay, let's try a concrete example, drawing from the spirit of the source material. Imagine a community grappling with a sensitive issue like the development of new public housing. Strong opinions everywhere, longtime residents, new arrivals, advocacy groups. Instead of just devolving into shouting matches or endless bureaucratic delays, a community leader might apply these Confucian principles. They could encourage older residents, the ones with historical knowledge, to perhaps mentor younger activists, bridging generational gaps through a shared project, kind of like that older-younger sibling dynamic.
Exactly. And different community groups, initially maybe wary or even distrustful of each other, might commit to mutual support and trust building. Maybe through a series of facilitated dialogues and shared problem-solving workshops, embodying that friend-friend dynamic of honest critique and mutual care. By focusing on these relational duties, providing guidance, offering support, demonstrating respect, fostering trust through collaborative action, they can move past initial differences, achieve common goals like a well-integrated housing solution, and fundamentally weave a stronger, more cohesive social fabric. It proves these ancient ideas have very tangible, modern applications.
This brings us squarely to the topic of leadership, which, as you said, Confucius saw as absolutely vital for societal flourishing. He believed that a truly good society isn't just a top-down mandate or a set of laws imposed from above. It organically flourishes from virtuous individuals, particularly those in positions of influence. He had a very specific ideal for this kind of leader, which he called the junzi, Junzi, or the superior person. The powerful idea, especially in our modern context, where leadership is often defined by external metrics like power, accumulated wealth, or even just, superficial charisma, rather than fundamental character or moral integrity.
Right, so the crucial question then becomes, what precisely defines the superior person? The sources are unequivocal. It is absolutely not about social status, inherited wealth, or even raw intellectual brilliance, though those qualities might certainly be present. It is, at its most fundamental, about moral character. The core idea is that authentic leaders must first and foremost embody the very values they wish to see in others. They don't just lecture from on high, they live their principles, visibly and consistently. There's a powerful quote in the sources that encapsulates this perfectly, acting as a profound litmus test for leadership. The superior man acts before he speaks, and afterwards speaks according to his actions. This emphasizes integrity and authenticity above all else, a profound, unshakable consistency between one's words and one's deeds, which creates an indelible impression and inspires genuine emulation. Let's delve deeper into this principle of action before words because its impact is really profound. There's an undeniable power when leaders consistently align their actions with their stated values. When a leader declares they prioritize honesty and then demonstrates that honesty in every decision they make, even the most difficult and unpopular ones, it builds this immense reservoir of credibility. Their followers trust them not simply because of their positional authority, but because of their consistent, visible integrity.
It makes their words actually mean something.
Exactly. And this, in turn, inspires others throughout the organization or society to emulate those very values, creating a powerful, self-reinforcing, virtuous cycle where integrity begets integrity. Contrast this sharply with leaders who preach one thing but consistently do another. Those who advocate for transparency but operate in secrecy, or champion fairness but act with evident bias. This kind of hypocrisy rapidly and irrevocably erodes trust, fundamentally undermines morale, and ultimately leads to widespread cynicism and a catastrophic breakdown of respect. Their words become hollow echoes, devoid of meaning, and their influence wanes into irrelevance. The junzi instinctively understands that true, enduring authority stems directly from moral consistency and authentic action, not from empty rhetoric. Confucius saw virtue not just as a desirable trait for leaders, but as absolutely essential for their effectiveness. It's not simply about wielding power, achieving strategic objectives, or accumulating personal wealth. It's about establishing a profound moral authority that serves to genuinely guide and elevate society as a whole. A leader driven by that humaneness we talked about and committed to least proper conduct, which we'll get to, doesn't just manage tasks or direct operations, they cultivate the very environment in which others can also grow in virtue and contribute meaningfully to the collective good. They understand that their primary role is to foster a culture of ethical conduct, personal growth, and shared responsibility. This moral imperative means that true leadership, in the Confucian sense, isn't just about what you achieve, but fundamentally about how you achieve it and the moral example you steadfastly set in the process. It's about shaping character within the collective, nurturing the human spirit, not merely directing tasks or controlling resources.
Expert. The idea of the junzi as a moral leader is incredibly inspiring, but it also sounds incredibly demanding. I mean, really demanding. In a world where leaders are often under immense pressure to deliver immediate results, maybe quarterly results, or maintain a carefully crafted public image. How practical is it to expect them to consistently act before they speak, especially when public perception or even political expediency might tempt them to compromise their values? Do the sources acknowledge these very real-world tensions, or do they present an idealized, perhaps unattainable, standard?
That's a fair question. And the sources, surprisingly, seem to acknowledge these pressures by emphasizing that the effort towards being a junzi is what truly matters, not necessarily perfect, flawless attainment. It's about the striving. They make it clear. Leaders, whether they are CEOs navigating corporate pressures, educators shaping young minds, or politicians serving diverse constituents, are far more effective and endure much longer when they authentically model the very values they preach: humility, diligence, and fairness. It's about truly walking the talk, and it creates a profound, undeniable ripple effect throughout any organization or community, building a foundation far more stable than any quick fix.
Okay, let's break that down. How does a leader's humility encourage genuine, open communication?
Well, when a leader has the courage to admit they don't have all the answers, or openly acknowledges their own mistakes and limitations, it immediately creates a psychologically safe space. Others feel they can speak up, share innovative ideas, even offer constructive criticism without fear of reprisal. It breaks down rigid hierarchies of fear and fosters genuine, transparent dialogue, which ultimately leads to better solutions.
Right. And what about diligence? How does their unwavering diligence inspire hard work and commitment in others?
If a CEO is known for their tireless commitment, their deep understanding of the work, their hands-on approach, their team is far more likely to be inspired to match that effort, to go the extra mile rather than just merely going through the motions. When diligence is visibly modeled from the top, it transforms from a mere suggestion into a collective expectation, a shared standard of excellence.
And fairness. What's the far-reaching ripple effect of a leader demonstrating absolute fairness in their decisions?
When people truly believe that decisions are made equitably, based on merit and objective criteria, not favoritism or personal bias, it builds deep trust. It significantly reduces resentment and cultivates an overarching sense of justice throughout the entire system. It naturally encourages everyone within that system to strive for fairness and equity in their own daily interactions, creating a virtuous cycle of ethical conduct.
Okay, let's make this really concrete. 2 scenarios, maybe, from the spirit of the source material. First, imagine a CEO who, during a truly difficult economic downturn, takes a significant personal pay cut to help save jobs for their employees, demonstrating profound humility and a deep sense of fairness, rather than immediately resorting to mass layoffs solely to protect their own executive compensation or the company's short-term stock price. This action, born of Jun and Junzi leadership, almost invariably garners immense respect and unwavering loyalty from the entire workforce, fostering a collective commitment that far outweighs any perceived short-term financial gain.
Absolutely. Compare that to a leader who prioritizes personal profit while their company struggles and their employees suffer. The impact on morale, trust, and long-term organizational commitment is, quite simply, night and day.
Exactly. Second scenario. Consider an educator who consistently demonstrates intellectual curiosity, diligently continues their own learning by exploring new research or methodologies, perhaps even openly shares their struggles and breakthroughs with their students. This genuine, diligent pursuit of knowledge, modeled by the educator, inspires students far more deeply than a professor who simply lectures from outdated notes. It shows that learning is a continuous, vibrant, and living process, not a static endpoint, thereby cultivating a lifelong love of learning and a commitment to personal growth in their students.
And that, for Confucius, is the transformative power of the junzi in our modern world.
Right.
That modeling.
Now, this next concept might sound a bit formal, maybe even archaic, conjuring images of ancient court ceremonies or, rigid social customs. But I urge you to stick with us, because Confucius placed immense emphasis on li, that's L-I-E, which broadly translates to rituals, proper conduct, and appropriate decorum. It's far more than just mere ceremony. It's intrinsically about respect, consistency, and establishing a profound sense of order. And it carries surprising and critical modern relevance. Our sources show it's far more fundamental to the harmonious flow of daily life than you might initially imagine.
Yeah, what's truly fascinating here, and a point often missed, is that li is emphatically not about blind adherence to rigid, archaic rules or pointless, empty ceremonies. Quite the contrary. It's about intelligently establishing clear, respectful, and predictable interactions that serve to maintain social order and foster profound personal discipline. Think of lei as the well-oiled machinery, the intricate social lubricant, that allows complex human interactions to flow smoothly, almost effortlessly, within a community. It fosters a deep sense of shared understanding, mutual respect, and collective ease. It's about creating predictable patterns of behavior that instill confidence, significantly reduce social friction, and prevent misunderstandings before they even arise. These are the often unspoken agreements, the subtle courtesies, the established norms that make living together in a complex society not just bearable, but genuinely harmonious, productive, and deeply fulfilling. It's the invisible scaffolding, really, that provides structure and grace to all human interaction, from the smallest gesture to the grandest tradition. Let's delve into the profound and multifaceted impact of lei. Firstly, in terms of its contribution to social order. Consistent etiquette and established routines are absolutely essential for preventing chaos. Imagine, for a moment, a society utterly devoid of agreed-upon ways of greeting each other, conducting meetings, resolving disputes, or even simply interacting in public spaces. It would quickly devolve into a confusing, inefficient free-for-all. Lei provides a clear, universally understood framework for predictable, respectful behavior within any group, be it a small family unit, a multinational corporation, or an entire nation. It meticulously sets clear expectations, minimizes ambiguity, and cultivates a powerful sense of shared norms that enable individuals to coexist peacefully, cooperate effectively, and achieve collective goals without constant friction or misunderstanding. It is, quite literally, the invisible scaffolding holding complex social structures together, ensuring smooth functioning and collective stability.
So it's like the unwritten rules that just make things work.
Exactly. Secondly, lei profoundly contributes to the cultivation of personal discipline and self-mastery. How do daily rituals, even seemingly small or mundane ones, contribute to an individual's mental focus, self-mastery, and inner calm? Consider the simple routine of your morning coffee ritual, or the consistent practice of a personal hobby, or even the deliberate act of preparing for an important meeting. These routines, when performed with intention and mindfulness, consistently build self-discipline, enhance concentration, and instill a powerful sense of internal order. They help an individual organize their thoughts, manage their time more effectively, and approach tasks with a focused, deliberate mindset. Lei is about cultivating inner harmony through outer consistency, creating a virtuous feedback loop where disciplined external actions powerfully reinforce a disciplined, well-ordered mind, leading to greater effectiveness and personal peace. And it's absolutely crucial to emphasize that lei extends far beyond grand formal events or elaborate ceremonies, though those are certainly part of its broader scope. While state rituals or elaborate weddings fall under lei, its true power resides in its application to everyday life. Lei is primarily about the myriad daily courtesies we extend to one another, the nuanced ways we speak to each other, the manner in which we demonstrate consideration for others' feelings and needs, and the respect we consistently show in all our interactions. A polite please and thank you, listening attentively when someone speaks, gracefully giving way to others in a crowded space, respecting personal boundaries and space, these are all forms of lei. They subtly but powerfully build stronger social bonds and make everyday life more pleasant, efficient, and deeply civilized. It is, in essence, the subtle, often invisible art of navigating our shared social spaces with grace, consideration, and profound respect for our fellow human beings.
That's a really compelling reframing of lei as this profound social lubricant, really. And it begs the question for our rapid-fire, constantly changing modern world. Here's where it truly gets interesting for our daily lives, because the sources highlight how daily routines, cherished traditions, and even simple etiquette, everything from a firm handshake in a business meeting to how families celebrate annual holiday gatherings, can profoundly foster stability, identity, and respect in our often turbulent times. In a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, these established patterns provide crucial grounding and undeniable comfort. So in a world that's relentlessly pushing for novelty, for the next big innovation, for constant disruption, how do rituals and routines provide that essential grounding?
Well, they offer a vital sense of continuity and predictability that can be incredibly reassuring amidst constant flux. They give us a foundational framework to operate within, reducing decision fatigue and providing a stable anchor in turbulent seas.
And critically, how do they help individuals and groups maintain a powerful sense of identity and continuity across generations?
Think about the comfort and meaning derived from long-held family traditions passed down, or the specific rituals that bind a sports team, a professional organization, or even a civic community. These shared practices don't just happen. They actively reinforce who we are as individuals, who we are as a collective, connecting us deeply to our past, stabilizing our present, and providing a guiding compass for our future. They solidify our place within a larger, ongoing narrative, giving us a sense of belonging and purpose that's often lost in purely transactional or novelty-driven interactions.
Okay, let's give two distinct yet equally powerful illustrative examples from the spirit of the source. First, consider the routine of a team's daily stand-up meeting in a modern agile workplace. It might seem like a small procedural thing, right? But it's a direct form of Liga that fosters consistency, ensures everyone is literally on the same page, and promotes shared understanding and discipline. Everyone knows what to expect, who speaks when, what vital information needs to be conveyed. This ritual minimizes confusion, maximizes efficiency, and subtly but powerfully reinforces the team's cohesion and shared purpose. It transforms individual tasks into a collective rhythm.
That's a great example. And second, on a more personal level, think about the cherished tradition of a weekly family dinner. In our fragmented digital age, the simple act of gathering around a table, sharing a meal, and engaging in conversation is a profound leap. It's a recurring ritual that reinforces bonds, nurtures identity through shared experience and interaction, and provides a predictable, cherished space for connection. Even if the menu changes, the ritual of gathering itself creates a predictable anchor, reinforcing family values, creating lasting memories, and solidifying a deep sense of belonging. These aren't just habits. They are intentional, foundational practices that build strong, resilient human connections and collective well-being.
Finally, let's talk about something incredibly close to the very purpose of this deep dive: learning. Confucius was a firm, unwavering believer that education isn't just a means to an end. It's not simply for utility, like gaining a specific skill for a job. For him, education was, at its very core, a lifelong, continuous journey towards becoming a better, more virtuous, and more complete human being. It's about cultivating your entire being, intellectually, morally, and personally, in an ongoing process of self-refinement.
Right, and this raises an absolute crucial question. What kind of learning did Confucius advocate? The sources are incredibly illuminating, telling us that true learning never ever ends. It shouldn't. And it should be pursued not merely for practical skills or vocational training, but fundamentally to cultivate one's character and to consistently become a more virtuous individual. It's about intellectual and moral growth being inextricably intertwined, a holistic development of the self. And crucially, the sources give us three powerful and interconnected methods for acquiring and integrating true wisdom: reflection, imitation, and experience. These are not isolated techniques to be picked and chosen. They are dynamic, synergistic pathways to deep, transformative understanding and lasting personal growth. Let's explore these three profound methods in detail, starting with reflection. How does genuine introspection lead to a deeper understanding of oneself and the vast complexities of the world? Reflection is about intentionally slowing down, taking a deliberate step back from the immediate rush of events, and actively processing information, emotions, and experiences. It means asking profound why and how questions, meticulously examining your own thoughts, your underlying motives, the consequences of your actions. It's the cornerstone of self-awareness, allowing you to learn not only from your successes, but perhaps even more powerfully, from your failures, mistakes, and challenges. It's where raw information becomes integrated knowledge, where disparate facts synthesize into profound insight, and where new learning is seamlessly woven into your existing worldview, transforming you from the inside out. Without this critical act of reflection, experiences can simply pass us by without truly leaving a transformative mark. It is the crucible where information truly becomes wisdom.
So it's about actively thinking about what happened, not just letting it wash over you.
Precisely. Second, we have imitation, and this is crucial. It is not about mindlessly copying others or becoming a mere echo of someone else. No. Instead, it's about discerningly learning from virtuous examples, actively seeking out wise mentors, and critically internalizing successful models of behavior and thought that resonate with your own aspirations. How does carefully observing and internalizing good practices accelerate personal growth in a way that mere theoretical study cannot? Well, by meticulously studying those who genuinely embody the qualities you aspire to, you gain practical, nuanced insights into how virtue is applied in complex, real-world situations. It's about understanding not just what they do, but why certain actions lead to positive outcomes, and how wise individuals navigate challenges with grace and integrity. This active, analytical, and discerning form of imitation provides a powerful shortcut to developing positive habits and robust character traits, often bypassing some of the laborious trial and error you might otherwise face on your own journey.
Finding good role models and figuring out what makes them tick.
Exactly. And third, the indispensable role of experience. This speaks to the invaluable worth of practical application, the courage to try new things, the willingness to engage directly with the world around you, and the humility to learn profoundly from both your successes and, perhaps even more importantly, from your failures. Why is firsthand experience so absolutely irreplaceable in gaining true wisdom? Because some of life's most profound lessons cannot be taught from a book, or merely observed from a distance, or even gleaned through reflection alone. Experience grounds theoretical knowledge firmly in the gritty reality of life. It forces you to adapt, to problem solve under pressure, and to cultivate resilience in the face of adversity. It's where the rubber truly meets the road, where reflection is rigorously tested against real-world scenarios, and where the wisdom gained through imitation is put into dynamic, lived practice. The powerful combination of these three methods, thinking deeply through reflection, learning from exemplary others through imitation, and engaging directly with the world through experience, forms a comprehensive, incredibly potent approach to continuous holistic self-improvement that leads to profound wisdom.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, in today's rapidly accelerating world? The sources make it undeniably clear. A commitment to lifelong learning, whether it's through reading a wide and diverse range of subjects, proactively finding mentors who challenge and guide you, or engaging in deep introspection after both your triumphs and your inevitable setbacks, is not merely beneficial. It is absolutely crucial. It's what helps us not just survive, but truly evolve in an ever-changing world, and critically, to adapt with unwavering integrity. This isn't just about staying competitive in the job market or acquiring new professional skills, though that's part of it. It's about a profound, holistic personal development that allows you to face new challenges with a solid moral compass, an adaptable mind, and a continuously growing spirit. Let's really dig into the practical side of this. How can we intentionally integrate reflection, imitation, and experience into our personal and professional development plans in a tangible way?
Well, for reflection, it could be as simple as setting aside 5 minutes at the end of each day. Just review what went well, what challenges arose, what could have been done differently. Maybe keeping a short reflective journal helps some people. For imitation, actively seeking out individuals you deeply admire, whether in your professional field or personal life, and systematically analyzing how they achieve their results, what values guide their decisions, how they navigate complex ethical dilemmas. And for experience, it means intentionally stepping outside your comfort zone, volunteering for new projects, even if they feel daunting, taking on leadership roles, or simply trying new things, and crucially, viewing every outcome, positive or negative, as a rich, invaluable learning opportunity rather than a mere success or failure.
Turning everything into a potential lesson.
Right. This intentional engagement turns every moment into a classroom.
And what then is the fundamental difference between merely acquiring information and truly gaining wisdom through these methods?
Information is simply raw data, facts, concepts. Wisdom, in the Confucian sense, is the profound ability to apply that data meaningfully, ethically, and effectively, to navigate life's complexities and contribute to the well-being of others. It's the dynamic transformation of raw facts into profound understanding and virtuous, impactful action.
Okay, let's cap this off with a powerful illustrative example from the very spirit of the source. Consider a professional who, after a significant project failure, doesn't just externalize blame or try to quickly move on. No. Instead, they demonstrate the Confucian approach. They take time for deep, honest reflection. What was my precise role in this outcome? What were my assumptions? What could I have done differently? That's a pure reflection. Then they proactively seek advice from a seasoned colleague or a mentor who has successfully navigated similar challenges. Carefully observing how that individual approaches problem solving, leads a team under pressure, manages setbacks, that's thoughtful imitation. Finally, they take those hard-won lessons, those deepened insights, and apply them directly to a new venture. Using the wisdom gained to course-correct, improve their strategy, approach the next challenge with a transformed mindset, even if it means trying something entirely new and unfamiliar. That's invaluable experience.
Exactly. This continuous dynamic cycle of learning, processing, and applying truly embodies the Confucian approach to self-improvement, turning every setback into a profound stepping stone for genuine wisdom, lasting growth, and increased effectiveness, not just for themselves, but for those around them. So if we connect this all to the bigger picture, what powerfully emerges from these 5 fundamental pillars of Confucian wisdom is not a fragmented collection of isolated virtues, but a truly holistic and deeply interconnected approach to living a meaningful and impactful life. It's an intricate, self-reinforcing system where personal integrity, meticulously cultivated through that deep sense of humaneness and compassion, fuels the foundation for harmonious relationships, ensuring that our interactions are consistently based on mutual respect, clear responsibilities, and genuine care. These harmonious relationships, in turn, are the fertile ground that enables truly ethical leadership, as individuals in positions of influence consistently lead by profound moral example, inspiring and uplifting others through their authentic, consistent actions. All of this is firmly grounded in consistent, respectful conduct and predictable social patterns, powerfully facilitated by Leo, the rituals and routines that provide essential order, discipline, and grace in our daily lives. And this entire magnificent edifice of character and social harmony is tirelessly driven by a relentless, lifelong pursuit of self-improvement through comprehensive education, ensuring continuous moral, intellectual, and personal growth for the individual and, by extension, for society as a whole. It is fundamentally about the continuous cultivation of the self, not for selfish gain, but for the profound benefit of all. A beautiful, cyclical process of personal betterment leading inexorably to societal flourishing.
Right. So in summary, this deep dive into Confucian philosophy has unveiled how these ancient principles can truly transform your modern life. It shows you how to become a kinder, more disciplined, and more self-aware individual by actively cultivating, run, and thoughtfully embracing lie. It empowers you to build more respectful, more resilient, and deeply meaningful relationships by truly understanding and honoring the dynamics of the 5 key relationships. It offers a compelling blueprint for ethical leadership and encourages profound civic responsibility by inspiring you to aspire to be a junzi, a superior person who leads not by command, but by unwavering moral example. It helps you find that crucial, often elusive balance between honoring tradition and embracing necessary change by understanding the adaptable nature of lie. And fundamentally, it compels you to prioritize moral education and engage in a lifelong journey of learning through the powerful methods of reflection, imitation, and experience, ensuring you're constantly growing, evolving, and adapting with unwavering integrity. Hashtag outro.
This deep exploration inevitably raises an important question for you to ponder as you navigate your own journey. In a world that so often measures success almost exclusively by external achievements, material gain, or fleeting popularity, how might intentionally prioritizing these profound inner virtues and cultivating these essential relational harmonies, precisely as Confucius taught, fundamentally redefine your own personal path to a truly fulfilling, deeply impactful, and genuinely meaningful life?
Something profound to mull over as you go about your day. We sincerely hope this deep dive has given you some surprising facts, fresh perspectives, and truly profound insights to chew on. We'll be back next time with another deep dive into the sources that shape our world.